You may have all the confident knowledge, but you must have love as the governing factor of behavior.
是保罗说，即便你有这些的知识、这些的能力，掌管你的决定的最后一些的一个原则，应该是你对别人的爱。
Your love should go back to the strict brother or sister who has chosen a far more conservative course.
你的爱应该朝向那一些比较软弱的，或者是那一些选择了比较严格的标准的弟兄姐妹们。
Because their conscience may not be as informed as yours, and they would feel terrible if they did some of the things that you did in freedom.
因为他们的知识、他们的良心没有像你那样子，所以他们会因着你的行为而受到影响，因为你的行为而受到伤害。
A person with confident knowledge, the apostle says, must give up even their freedom for the sake of making sure that the conscience of the weaker person is not violated.
所以那些有自由的、有知识的、比较强壮的，对这些事情，应该将他们自己的自由和知识放下，为的是要爱那一些比较软弱、比较没有自由、比较没有知识的人。
And so the Christian with love, even though they know that the meat is offered to an idol, but the idol's not real, it's all right to eat it, even if they feel 100% free to eat as much as they want to and say, ah, look at me, I'm eating, love, it's good. That person may not want to eat because somebody else.
所以那些有知识、知道说吃这些拜过偶像的肉一点问题都没有的人，可是因着他对其他不知道的人，因着他对他们的爱，选择了不去吃这些的食物。
So now the apostle is going to give an explanation why, even though you are confident about your knowledge, why should you give up your freedom of confidence and not actually touch it too in order to help a weaker brother? Why should we do that?
为什么我们既然这件事情本身没有什么错，为什么我要放弃我的自由，使得我不去吃，为的是要保护那些没有知识、没有自由的人呢？
You know, over the years, I have seen very confident Christians say, hey, they should grow up, they should grow up, they should know nothing, they should just forget it and just eat like me, it's free.
过去我常常见到这些的基督徒对我说：“啊，为什么这些软弱的基督徒我们不教他们，让他们成长起来，让他们也像我们这样子，不受这些事情捆绑呢？”
No, it's not like that at all. Because he's going to explain what the conscience is and how it's important to each person, and each person may have a different conscience.
保罗就接下去解释说，为什么这个事情不是这么简单的？因为每一个人都有不同的良心的引导，那么每一个人的良心的引导都是不一样。
So now he begins an examination of the reasons, and he firstly says, always to the liberals, do you know your quest for knowledge and freedom in Christ is very, very good.
那么保罗就首先对这些有知识的人说：“你们有知识在这些事情上本身是好的。”
The apostle said, when I say knowledge puffs up, I don't want you to think that knowledge is bad.
所以我说知识使人骄傲，我并不是把这个知识贬低了。
And acting lovingly means the end of knowledge.
我也不是说我们以爱心行事，就代表说我们不需要有知识。
I'm saying that your increase in knowledge should also have the right attitude of love alongside it.
我要说的就是有知识的增加，同样要有相同的爱心的增加。
So in verse 4 he says, I'm commending you liberals. Your thinking is excellent about the freedom we have.
所以你们对这件事情的分析，他说是正确的，我是赞赏你们的。
And the apostle actually says, I like you. I also believe the idol is not real.
我也跟你们有同样的感受，也知道说这些偶像是没有什么的。
The idol is just a block of wood.
我也知道这些偶像不过是一个木头而已。
Isaiah the prophet laughs at the idol worshipper.
先知以赛亚也为这些拜偶像的人讥笑他们。
Isaiah says, you have a log of wood, you chop it in half.
他说这些人有一块的木头，那么把它切成一半。
You burn one half of the wood to warm yourself.
一半的木头他们用来烤火来取暖。
And with the other half you make a god.
另外一半的木头他们雕刻一个偶像来拜。
You burn one half and you say to the other half, help me, please,
所以
God.
你拜那个你切成一半来烧成的偶像来说，你帮助我吧，你帮助我。
It's
这是多么的愚蠢啊！
He says, we know there is no God but the one true God.
说除了真神之外，没有其他任何一个神。
There's only one God and only one way to do God through Jesus Christ.
唯有一个神，也唯有一个达到神的途径，就是借助耶稣基督。
He then says, we come from God, we are made for God.
我们来到神面前，我们也为着神而被创造的。
There's only one whom we will obey, Jesus, one Lord, through whom all this happened.
也借助耶稣基督，所有的一切，我们能够经历到神的发生。
So he turns to the liberals and says, well, I'm like you.
所以他跟这些人说：“我也跟你一样赞赏你们。
Don't give up your quest for the right knowledge about God.
所以你们要不断的寻找知识。”
And the apostle said, if you and I are together, and there's no one else around, no other Christians around, of course we can eat that meat.
所以只有单你跟我在一起，而别人不在的话，当然我们可以吃这些拜偶像的食物。
Why? Because there is a convinced belief, not just a belief, but we're convinced in our lives that we can stand on it.
因为你跟我都在这件事情上是同心，我们能够很清楚的知道我们所做的。
Nothing can shake us from this convinced belief that an idol is only a piece of wood.
所以我们当吃这些食物的时候，没有一件事情会使我们对偶像不存在的这个事实有所动摇。
The apostle says, even though we are very, very convinced, that doesn't decide the issue as to whether we eat that meat or not.
可是，即便我们都知道这个事实，这不代表说我们就可以因此随便的去吃。
Why is this in verse 7? Because not all possess this knowledge.
因为第7节告诉我们说，不是每一个人都有这一般的知识。
Some Christians have just come out of idol worship. They've only left idol worship recently.
有一些的基督徒他说，当时刚刚从那个拜偶像的生命中出来，
They know in their minds that they must trust in Jesus Christ. He is the only God. They believe from here upwards. There's only one God.
虽然在脑海中他们知道说耶稣基督是他们的唯一的主，他们唯一要敬拜的。
And the apostle says they haven't possessed it. It hasn't gone from their heads to their hearts and their motivation. There is still a division. They know that Jesus is Lord, but in their hearts, they've been so close in their idol worship. They have bowed down to those idols. They've given their hearts to those idols. There is still a division between the head. They haven't been possessed by God in their hearts.
所以，可是呢，他们所知道的跟他们日常生活的熟悉的还有一点点的距离，他们还没有达到那个状况，他们可以将所知道的施行在生活当中。
And their conscience, when they first became a Christian recently, they promised God, Lord, I will have nothing, please, to do with idols again. Nothing.
这些人当他们刚刚成为基督徒的时候，他们是跟神说：“我从此就不再跟偶像有任何的关系。”
So when the meat comes to their table and the waiter is there with the meat straight from the idol worship to them, they say, I can't even look at it.
所以，当这些人他们见到拜过偶像的食物端在他们面前的时候，他们知道，他们良心告诉他们，他们连看、连碰都不可以做。
To that person, eating that meat would be just like worshipping that idol. Even though they're not worshipping the idol, they cannot separate in their minds and their hearts. They're not totally 100% convinced yet in China.
所以对这些人来说呢，如果他们吃这些食物的话，就好像他们回到以前的那一种的状况来敬拜偶像，这种的光景，所以他们绝对不能够允许自己这样子做。
That's why the apostle says, you, with that convinced knowledge over many years perhaps, that God has gradually made you realize that an idol is nothing, and you are truly free in Jesus Christ to eat that meat because it's part of the created order of things, of vegetation, of animals to eat and creatures to eat. Like we Chinese, we love food, and of course in loving that food we have the freedom to choose what we eat as well.
所以他说：“你们这些人呢，因为你在基督徒的生涯里面是一段时间的，所以你已经懂了这些事情，你已经经历过了这些事情，所以对你来说，吃拜过偶像的食物可能不是一个问题。”
The apostle says to the liberals, look, number one, be careful of your pride to say, I can do anything I want.
所以对他们说，第一个你要小心的就是不要掉入一个自我骄傲的一个光景。
So even if you are the most convinced believer in the total freedom of the Christian now from idolatry, even if you put aside your pride, even if you put aside your considered, convinced belief, there is a way of love.
那么，即便你知道了你这些事情是可以行的，可是为着爱，还有一种的途径你是可以跟从的。
We must love the Christian who is at a different stage of their conscience.
所以你要爱那一些基督徒，他们的属灵的光景没有你那一种的属灵的光景的处境。
There's a Christian who has a very sensitive conscience about this. If they see you eating, and then they close their eyes and say, "Oh, okay, I'll eat too," and they eat.
那么，所以这些基督徒，他说这些软弱的基督徒，如果他们看到你吃，他们也因此觉得说可以吃，他们就可能会违背着他们良心，也跟着你去做的话，
The wicked Christian has seen you swallow that meat.
那么他们看到你吃这个肉，
They watch your face and say, "It's good. They're enjoying that meat."
他看到你吃的时候，觉得你很欢喜，你很喜欢这个肉。
And the weaker Christian will say, "Maybe if I close my eyes, I can also take that meat as well."
所以这一些软弱的基督徒，他们说，可能我也可以跟着他这样子做，我就闭上我的眼睛照样吃。
Imagine for the very quick moment, they decide, they put it in the mouth and they swallow.
那么那个时候，他就闭着眼睛就吞下去了。
Now the problem starts, because the guilt will start to come even overnight for that particular Christian.
是问题就会来了，对这些人的话，这一种的自我责备的心态呢，就会慢慢的产生。
Sleep may escape them.
他们可能晚上就睡不着觉。
They promised to God that they would separate, and now they feel as if they've gone back again.
他们以前答应神说我不再吃这种东西的，可是因着这个行为，他们晚上可能开始责备自己了。
You see, the result of the freedom of an enlightened Christian may harm the conscience of a fellow believer who's weaker.
因此，一个成熟的、一个有知识的基督徒，他们的行为就因此呢，使到那些没有这种知识的弟兄姐妹们跌倒了。
It's so serious that in verse 10, the apostle says, you can damage the conscience of that particular Christian.
那么保罗说，那在这种的行为呢，会影响到，会破坏了另外一个人的良心。
Going to confuse that Christian, and he's going to be very troubled as to why it is that he would be so weak, as if he feels as if it's just like he cannot separate the meat from the idol in his mind because he was so engaged in the past.
因为他对以往的事情还没有完全的脱离，所以因着你的行为，他会使到他跌倒，会使到他迷惑，会使到他对自己的行为不太清楚。
So the apostle says, if I go ahead and use my freedom, well, it doesn't harm me. A weaker brother may follow and override his own conscience.
所以，如果我即便对我来说没有什么错，可是我这样子行的话，我可能会伤害到另外一个弟兄的良心。
And therefore, I'm responsible in God's sight for wounding, for damaging his conscience.
所以他说，我这样子做的话，我是得罪了他们，也是伤害了他们的良心。
I've made that person shift from his own conscience to my conscience.
因为我使他从他自己的良心的标准移到强硬他，移到我的良心的标准。
The Bible is clear that a conscience is different. Your conscience, somebody else's Christian conscience. You must not try and say, you must have my conscience.
圣经告诉我们很清楚，每一个人都要按照神给我们的托付，给我们的良心来对神交代。我们不可能跟别人说，你就跟着我吧，反正我觉得没有什么不对，即便那个人觉得是有不好的。
Romans 14 and verse 14, we see that a different conscience must not try to persuade another Christian conscience in that way. Romans 14 and verse 14 says this, I know and am persuaded in the Lord Jesus that nothing is unclean,
那么在另外一处经文，保罗说：“我知道没有一件事情是不洁净的。”
Nothing is unclean in itself.